Hey friends, it's Jay. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to chat about the very last aspect happening in October. Thank goodness we have made it through the wild ride of astrology that was October. And let's bring up a chart so that we can look at the astrology while we are talking about it. So, yeah, the aspect that we are going to focus on today is Venus in Virgo trining Uranus in Taurus, happening at 21 degrees. And that will be at 8:51 a.m. Eastern on October 31st. So, a little Halloween aspect to close out the month. And yeah, it's Halloween. So, trick or treat. I think with this aspect, we get both. I think the trick and the treat might be the same thing because, the trick might be that you are surprised by what brings you joy today. You might discover some unexpected pleasures and delights that might seem to come out of nowhere. You might be willing to try something new today, something that you thought you'd never really be into, and then you're so into it and it really makes you wonder, like, why was I so opposed to this before? Why did it take me so long to give it a shot? And then the treat, of course, is that you find new ways of having fun, new ways of experiencing pleasure. You find new joys, new hobbies, or ways of expressing yourself, by allowing ourselves the freedom to explore something new, something we thought was way too outside of our comfort zone or too unconventional or whatever it might be, something we thought was probably not going to be for us. We might realize, like, actually, I think this really is for me. And in fact, I feel more like me for having done it. There's a very experimental quality and a willingness to go in a different direction. And I think whatever seems the weirdest or most unconventional is probably the exact thing that you should point your curiosity towards. Now, I did talk about another Venus Uranus combo just a few weeks ago, and that's when Venus was still back in Leo and it was squaring Uranus over in Taurus. And in that video, I talked about how I really wish we could get rid of the term guilty pleasure because I really think we need to stop shaming ourselves for the things that bring us joy and just embrace our desires, embrace our pleasures. And this aspect, obviously it's this combo that really speaks to that. And I think because of the trine aspect, it's even easier to embrace our quirky delights. And I think this aspect actually maybe even pushes us to go a little bit further. Uranus is a planet of rebellion and freedom. And I think we need to free ourselves from what we've been told we're supposed to like, these false ideas of happiness that we are sold by corporations and governments that really want to control our experiences of joy. They want to dictate how and when and where we find our pleasure. I think the more we move towards the things that actually make us happy, the easier it is to connect with what we truly value because authenticity just breeds more authenticity. So I see Venus trine Uranus and kind of any Venus Uranus combination as a very queer aspect, being free to love what and who you love, being free to express yourself, no matter how unconventional or outside the norm that might look like to other people. And I think this aspect is something that reminds us that freedom isn't a singular thing. It isn't an individual thing. Now, I mean, we do have our individual freedoms. We can liberate ourselves in meaningful ways when we embrace our desires and really stay true to ourselves. But we are a social and a relational animal. So freedom and liberation are always going to be interconnected somehow. And, going back to Uranus being a planet of rebellion, of freedom, of liberation, and Venus being a planet of love, values, peace, and war, I kind of feel like maybe this aspect, sorry, I lost in my notes as always. I kind of feel like maybe this aspect might provide new pathways for our activism. So if you've been calling and emailing your elected officials, which I really hope you have, and you've been using those pre-written scripts, which is absolutely 100% totally okay, but maybe under this aspect, you decide that you want to just write something or say something from the heart, or if you're artistically inclined, maybe you can create a beautiful graphic to share on social media, or a lovely sign to carry at a protest or something. Maybe you just find a new way of connecting with your values and you feel less restricted around sharing them. Maybe we can find new ways of coming together and creating more peace and joy in this world. Now, Venus in Virgo is focused on the practicality and routines of things like relationships, which are very important to creating stability in our connections, of course. But Venus coming together with Uranus is really all about like a reminder to spice things up every so often. You know, um, so we might experience some kind of breakthrough in a relationship, like a new way of connecting with someone, a new way of experiencing pleasure or joy in our relationships. But we do have to be open to trying something different. And remember that idea that like different outcomes requires different action or different input. And so it's a good day to just sort of shake up those regular rituals. If you have a spot that you always choose for date night, go somewhere else. Or if you and your friends always have the same like weekly ritual, just shake it up a little bit, have a different snack or go to somebody else's house or something like that. We might even find connections where we least expect it, perhaps being able to work alongside those who we may not always see eye to eye with, or working with people who are different than us and being able to, find common ground through those differences. So I wanted to just give a couple of examples of different rising signs and where these planets are going to be activated within your chart. So for example, if you are a Sagittarius rising, let's see if we can actually just bring that up on the chart to give the visual. So we'll just move things ahead. Oh, there we go. That's a Sag ascendant. So, let's delete that. And so now we can see that this Venus Uranus aspect is happening from the 10th house to the 6th house. And so, you might be trying something new at work. If let's be open to working with different people, having different collaborative partners, depending on what kind of work you do. Maybe you're working within a team and you find surprising ways to connect with one another, or surprising pathways of moving forward within a project that you're already working on. Really, what I keep getting at is this thing of being really open to just trying new things, coming at things from a different approach. And yeah, being open and being curious. Well, so what if you are a Libra rising? Let's go back a couple of hours. And so we will see that if you're a Libra rising, this is happening across the 12th house and the 8th house. And this is a little bit more internal. This might be finding new ways of approaching your mental health or self care. This could be finding a new therapist that you really gel with, or having a breakthrough in therapy. Now, one more example that I've got down here. Let's see. So, what if you are a Cancer rising? Let's get that down here. So if you're Cancer rising, you'll see that this is happening from your 3rd house to your 11th house. And so this might be, just taking a different route to work, going for a walk in your neighborhood that leads you in a different direction than you're used to going. this could be that shaking up the weekly ritual with friends. Of course, having friends is the 11th house, and our third house also a little bit of a social house, but having to do with our everyday sort of regular routines, our regularly scheduled program. So doing something different with friends, shaking things up, trying something different within the social sphere. All right. So that's all I've got for this Venus trine Uranus aspect. Hopefully, it has been helpful. And let me know in the comments what your take on this aspect is, or where it's happening in your chart. Maybe it's a couple days afterwards and you want to weigh in on how it all manifested. And if you do like what I have to say, if you want to hear more of my astro insights, check out the Cosmic Map Coven, which is over on Patreon. There will be a link in the show notes. I have all of the forecasts for November over there. There is currently a deep dive into the sign of Scorpio, and a deep dive into Sagittarius is soon to come. We have monthly meetups where we actually talk about the astrology as it's happening. And yeah, lots of other things, early access to content like this. And so, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Happy Halloween, blessed Samhain, and until next time, everyone, I'll catch you on the cosmos.